Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a like and a comment.
And you can share with a friend if you enjoy it, and subscribe so you're notified of new videos.
Thanks and enjoy the show. This week on Today's Homeowner, we're tackling a project close to home as we light up the landscape at my house.
You can make all the decisions on those landscape lights that you want to.
Okay, I got all date.
Landscape lighting is a topic that frustrates many homeowners, and I'm no different, even though I'm a professional contractor. My wife Sharon and I built our home 23 years ago, and we've never been happy with the way it looked after dark.
Probably the biggest problem I see with the lighting out front is that we do have those steps, and there's never been enough light on that area.
We had to have some kind of lights out there, so we went like so many people, bought some inexpensive lights, put them in there. They've been there 20 years. I've replaced bulbs dozens and dozens of times, and it never did look good. It could be safe, it could be secure, but also it could be dramatic in the different offsets in the house. Being a brick house, large overhangs, it just has an opportunity to really look unique. But as it is, it just doesn't quite fit in like it should. And we've been waiting all these years to get some decent looking things and to have someone work with us that really knew how to light up a home without it looking like a runway.
And that's what we have, really, is runway lights right now.
Exactly. So I called my friends Jim and Nick Burks, a father and son team who designed the outdoor lighting for a renovation we did a few years back called the Cuppersmith Project. These guys have a great talent for knowing exactly how much light to use and where to put it.
What I'm curious about is, how do you guys get started on this? I mean, what do you think about when you're evaluating something? Because every project that you guys do is a little different. How do you get started on it?
First thing is to get your input to find out what's your thoughts. How do you want it to look? How do you want the front of the house to look? How do you want the steps?
I want an elegant look to the front of the house. You know, there's so many nice features that you see in the daytime that you don't see at night.
What are your thoughts on the small lights that you have now on the step area?
Now, she's pretty sentimentally attached to those.
Yeah, they are terrible.
Okay.
No attachment at all.
Yeah, no attachment.
We'll see what we can do. We can see if we can light the steps with moonlighting. That's our first preference. We try not to use the lights that are on the ground.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is maintenance.
Because that's one of the problems, that floodlight up there.
Right.
I mean, it's right in your eyes when you're coming up. It's like you're in a police lineup or something.
After getting our input, these guys went right to work, even recording video from a bird's eye view to help them develop a lighting plan for our home. I wasn't too surprised by that, but what did surprise me was Sharon's reaction to my turning this job over to someone else.
I think it's wonderful. I don't think the landscaping and that type of thing has ever been his strong point. And so I think it's good that he's turning that over to someone else who deals just with that all the time.
And since I'm so easy to work with, there won't be any problems with being able to convey the information and working together as a team.
You're very easy to work with to someone else.
But I've heard that after you get into a project like this and you're doing these things, you might have second thoughts. Are you sure you're okay with me making all the decisions?
You can make all the decisions on those landscape lights that you want to.
Okay, I got all date.
And before long, we had a plan too. Jim dropped by to show us what they had come up with and how it would work.
Okay, well, take us through it here, because I've got a lot of little circles and arrows. So.
I know we talked about the architectural lighting on the front of the house, on the facade. These lights here and across the front of the house will be in the 3,000 Kelvin range, which will be like the old incandescent lamps that we used to use in the house.
Yeah.
More of a yellow. The yellow light brings red out, like your red brick. That'll make the red stand out, and then on the maple tree, the red maple, it makes the red redder.
Now, will this supply enough light for these stairs?
Yes. So this light here is actually going to come over the steps, and this light here is going to catch all these steps, you know, so that you're getting the front of the steps and the top.
He also showed us some of the fixtures that would be used to complete the project.
This is the LED that's going to go up in the trees, but that lens right there is what gives us the nice soft moonlight.
So you're going to have 2 up in this tree here?
Yeah, 2 up in that tree. Yeah.
I see. Now your son Nick tells me that you insist on installing those yourself.
Yeah.
Is that right?
But we always carry an extra belt
Yeah.
in case you guys want to.
Oh, for the homeowners.
Yeah, in case you want to do it yourself.
I would like to check their
So,
insurance.
yeah.
Now finally, their crew has arrived, and this project I've been waiting on for 20 years is about to take off.
I was at the home center store recently and I noticed that they sell 15-inch long sections of plastic downspout. These are used to extend the longer downspouts to carry the water away from your house. I was looking at it and I thought this would be able to solve a problem I have in the workshop, and that is how to neatly store all the wooden dowels, small sections of wood molding, small diameter pipes that I have in the shop. I don't want to just lay them on the floor because I'll trip over them and it'll be hard to find. So I thought I'd take this and screw it to the wall and use it to store the dowels. First thing I did is drilled a 1/2-inch diameter hole near the bottom. That's just to allow access for my screw driving bit. Then I'm going to mount it to the wall right here on the front of this wall stud, about 18 inches up off the floor. That's a perfect height for most moldings and wooden dowel rods. Put 1 screw in the bottom. These are just 1-inch drywall screws. At the top, I don't need a hole. I'm just going to drive it in at an angle through the top edge, right into the stud. There, perfect. Now, you can see I can just take the small diameter pipes, wooden molding, stand them right up there. They're neatly organized. You can see them, so you can tell what you have. And if you need one to take to a project, just pull it out and off you go.
This week, we're lighting up the landscape, but this time, I'm the anxious homeowner. Jim and Nick Burks are outdoor lighting experts with the Pinnacle Lighting Group, and they're helping my wife Sharon and I tackle a project we've been wanting to get done for over 20 years.
With all of the details and the architectural features of the home, it just looks bland, and the right kind of lighting could make all of that come out.
They've created a great plan for us, and now they're on site getting their crews set up to make it all happen.
One of the downlights, we got to catch the grass, but we also need to catch the steps coming down.
One of the most difficult chores is getting lights up in the trees, so these guys are starting right at the top. So Nick, it looks like this is one of the first things you guys do, and this has got to be the toughest part of the whole thing.
It's the funnest part of that, for sure.
Now, I'm curious why you aren't up on the ladder. I know you're a hands-on guy. Why not climb the ladder?
I don't have the training or the expertise that my guys do, that's for sure.
Once Juan is set in the first tree, the guys move the ladder to the next tree while he begins installing that stainless steel mount. Then he dials it in to the proper location with some help from a spotter on the ground.
Right there. Yeah, that's good.
So you took his ladder away. How's he gonna get down?
Just like Spider-Man.
A little at a time? Okay, they may not be superheroes, but these guys are amazingly quick and smooth, working so high above the ground. Once each light is mounted and aimed, they also have to prune any nearby branches that might interfere with the path of its beam. They then secure the cable powering it to the tree as they work their way down. It's an interesting job description. Part mountain climber, part tree surgeon, part electrician. Did you have any idea it was going to be that high?
No. I mean, I thought it would be in one of the large branches down here.
I thought so too. Once the trees are rigged, the crew starts working on the soffit lights, and compared to the tree work, this barely seems like they've left the ground. Meanwhile, I have a little trimming to do.
I'm glad you dropped by to help us out on some of this tree trimming in here.
Yeah, I guess it's time for some payback.
The bushes and shrubs around the house have to be trimmed back so that they don't interfere with the lights that will wash these walls from below. Of course, all this activity gets my wheels turning for even more projects.
It'd be a lot nicer to have a lot more grass and get that grass growing back up in there, and then get this grass over there growing up more, get rid of some of that erosion.
Right.
Because we're gonna have all this thing illuminated just right. Speaking of illumination, we don't need these things anymore, and I bet they're rooted down in there.
It's like pulling a weed.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have these for my house?
Nope. So I'd have to go and
You have to go and
repair them all
install
the
them.
time.
Since we're working from the top down, the last step in the process is the ground lights. Once everything is in position, the guys begin wiring it temporarily, and one by one, the lights start to come on so that we can see the effect as the sun starts going down. And as it does, the 3 moonlights mounted in the 2 different trees begin to create a soft glow over the whole yard.
Do you see what they're talking about as far as washing that wall?
Oh yeah, it gives it the elegant look I wanted. Yeah. It looks really nice.
And then the lights on the corners, you have those set to where if you're out here, you're not seeing any bulbs. There's no bulbs I'm seeing at all.
A little different than the way it was before.
Right? Oh yeah, definitely, because you felt like, deer in the headlight there with all the light shining right at you. Like I said, it kind of offended you almost.
Yeah.
So, and that's for, I guess, kind of safe too for anybody driving by.
Yeah, that's right.
And I assume because you've set all of these up right now, there's some tweaking. What tweaking are you going to do?
Adjust the fixtures, maybe up a little bit so we can get all the light out as far as we can without seeing any light source. So
Gotcha.
if you move them out, or move them in so that the shadows are there, it makes those architectural features maybe double
Oh, I got you.
the distance, because the shadows help accent the.
I got you.
So we'll be making those adjustments.
Well, it's already a big change not having those runway lights we had up there. So it already looks a lot better.
While they're fine-tuning the angle and the placement of these fixtures, let's check in with Jody for the best new product.
I love a smart house, and I love products that make my house even smarter. Take a look at this right here by Nest. This is another addition to their family. This is the Drop Cam. This thing is awesome because it is so easy to install. When you open it up, you have the camera here, but you also have the cable that hooks into your computer so that you're allowed to program it through your computer. It hooks up to your Wi-Fi. Then that cable doubles as the power cord. So you plug it in after you've programmed it. Now you can put it anywhere. You can put it on a table. You've got a wall mount on the back, so you can mount it on the wall if you need to. And of course it swivels so you can get it at the right angle that you like. The features that I like about this is on the back here is a 2-way speaker. So if you're monitoring your kids while you're at work, you can talk to them. Or if you see your pet getting into the trash can, you can tell them no. Or if you have an intruder in your house, you can tell them to get out. But that's a great little feature. Another thing is it's got night vision, so you can see in the dark. And also it has a zoom in quality on the camera, so you can get a tight on someone's face if you need that. All in all, I think this is a great addition to your house to make it that much smarter.
After 23 years, my wife Sharon and I are finally getting some serious outdoor lighting for the landscape in front of our home. The fixtures went in yesterday and we tested them last night. After a few tweaks, everything is just right, and now the guys are busy hiding the cables and making permanent connections.
Last night Sharon and I had a chance to come out in the front yard when it was completely dark and look at all of the lighting, and boy, it's just exactly what we want. Very elegant, very understated, but still sufficient enough to provide that safe walkway up the stairs and highlight a lot of the architectural features of the house.
While yesterday was all about climbing trees for these guys, today brings a lot of digging. They're using a flat spade-like tool to pry open the sod several inches deep so that they can bury the hundreds of feet of cable that's now stretched out all over the yard. By doing this, instead of digging out a trench, they minimize the impact on the lawn. When you can barely tell that anyone has been there, it's a good sign that the installation was a professional one. While the old lighting in our front yard was anything but professional, the backyard is in a lot better shape. It just needs a little maintenance.
You still liking your little toolkit you got for Christmas there?
Well, sure, if I can keep the tools in it. Some contractor I know keeps taking them.
I have no interest in those little kid-sized tools like that.
Right.
All right, we should have come out here last night and looked at all of these lights. There's so many lights in this backyard, and I can't remember. I know one of them's out in this gazebo, this dirty gazebo out here. I'll tell you what, you got some of that black tape? Yep, there you go. Let me borrow your tape, and I'll take a piece and put it on that photocell up there to trick it into thinking it's dark. There's one out at least, right?
Yeah, this one's out. The rest did come on, though.
All right, good. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, this is low voltage, so we don't have to worry about turning it off to work on. Hey, look at that. Look at the water in there.
Oh, that's not good.
No wonder. We might be replacing this fixture. Look at that. And you need to clean that off.
Okay.
All right, let's see about this bulb. I bet this is gonna be a mess. Uh-oh. They both broke off.
Oh, that's not good either.
this is 12 volt, just low voltage stuff. You don't really have to worry about turning it off when you're working on it. If this was, 110, 120, you'd definitely want to cut it off completely. I think I'm gonna need a toothpick. No, I don't have food caught in my teeth. I need to clean. I need to clean these out.
I don't have toothpicks in my little girly
Could
toolbox.
you head into the kitchen and get some toothpicks?
Sure.
Okay, good. You know, one of the tricks that Nick was sharing with me about keeping the lenses clean on a lot of the landscape lighting is to use a real fine steel wool and just kind of in a circular motion, just clean them up really well, both inside and out, and just use a paper towel to finish cleaning. It makes it a lot brighter, also makes it look a lot cleaner and newer.
Meanwhile, the guys out front are still busy making connections. While low voltage cable can be buried directly in the ground, the line voltage will go through conduit, which is laid out and connected in the trenches before the wire is pulled through. Now, this is a bit of a chore, but it's the right way to do it. My toothpick may not be the right tool for cleaning the contacts on this fixture, but it works, and in no time we're ready for a brand new bulb.
Yep, that's it.
Looks good, doesn't it?
Cool. All right, now I've always heard never touch a bulb like this because of the oil in your hands and such, so I always made fun of you with those little gloves, but
So now you like my
maybe this will
gloves,
be a
huh?
good time to try your little surgical gloves.
After a failed attempt or two to fit my hand into a lady-sized glove,
I don't like this.
we finally make it work and the bulb goes in without incident, and it works.
There we go. All right, we can look around and see what other lights that we need to fix now. So,
Did I ever tell you about this nest up here?
oh, it's a bird's nest, huh?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Last spring, I climbed up on this ledge and I got my face about this close thinking I was going to see some eggs. And there were two eyes looking back at me, and it was not a bird.
What
it was
was
a
it?
squirrel. I was so scared that squirrel was going to jump on my head. I almost fell off the wall.
Well, why don't you get up there and peek in it again?
Oh, no.
While we continue work in the wildlife sanctuary of our backyard, Nick's crew is wrapping things up out front, and soon we'll get to see the final results. Recently, someone asked me, do you think I can build a retaining wall in my yard even though I have never done it before? Well, that's a great question and a very popular project to do out in your yard. You know, masonry is typically needed for laying brick or cinder block and stone. It can be learned by do-it-yourselfers, but it's a fairly precise and demanding skill. Using landscape blocks designed for dry stacking is a much simpler method for homeowners to master, and it's ideal for simple projects like retaining walls and maybe raised planting areas. Blocks designed for these walls often have a lip on one edge that helps position them. This design is great for retaining walls because it allows the wall to lean into the weight of the soil on the uphill side. To prevent the block from moving from side to side, you simply add a little landscape adhesive, a type of construction adhesive designed specifically for this application, between the courses of block. Unlike mortar in masonry, the adhesive doesn't affect the level or height of each course, so it requires less skill to apply. After 23 years, my wife Sharon and I decided to finally do something with the lighting in our front yard. Our last attempt was decades ago, and it didn't work out really well, so we called in Jim and Nick from Pinnacle Lighting Group to plan and install a truly professional system. They did just that, and though I'm usually a fan of doing it yourself, in this case I was glad to watch an expert do it and learn through the process. The lights they've added high up in the trees really do create the illusion of moonlight that washes the whole yard in light. The ground lights that shine up onto the front of the house do just what Jim said they would. They add dimension and texture to every architectural detail, so none of that character that we love about our house is lost just because the sun went down. Plus, the new lighting sets off the beautiful trees in the yard and provides the security we wanted without blinding our guests as they walk up to our door. Plus, all of this progress has motivated Sharon to get started sprucing up the yard early this spring.
And it's going to take a lot of work to get all of that cleared out.
Okay, go get your gloves. I could use some help.
All right, looks like I got some work to do here, and that's the way it is around your home. Whether it's inside or out, there's always work to be done. We actually have a fair amount of work here to do in planting some grass sod, as well as clearing out all of these beds. But I can tell you one thing, this place looks awesome at night. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week, right here on Today's Homeowner. Don't pet me like a puppy.
This is what he does to me. I love you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to like, comment, and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified of new videos.
And be sure to click around and watch some more videos while you're here.